Green. Green!
Yes,
The pencils?
the pencils.
Too loud. Too loud!
I beg your pardon?
The pencils are too loud.
The pencils? They are mute.
The ruckus of that contraption!
Cannot be helped. It's in the machine. The rotaries chew.
Drop it.
I am not ready. There aren't enough.
You're ready.
As you wish.
Are you ready?
I know it. Everything that is written, everything that is said, shall be written. Even the silence must be marked.
Silence.
Silence. No talking unless you ask. I'm ears without a mouth. Nothing but the hand that writes the words.
Who are you?
Green is previously the executor of the aforementioned.
Who am I? Who am I?
Black.
Since when?
Since the beginning
And so it will be.
to the end. To the very end.
It's a great day, Green. A great and important day.
I don't doubt it, but so is every day. A new beginning of all the days that remain.
No. Today is different. Today is the day it ends.
If you say so.
I don't say so. It is written. Man will walk through that door, sit down in that chair across from me, and we will talk. By the time we've finished, there will be nothing left.
There will be the words. I'll have written them down one by one.
That's beside the point.
And why am I here? What am I doing this for?
You're here to make a record, to prove that what happened really happened, but it doesn't matter. One way or the other, it's beside the point.
You're out of your mind.
Not out. In. If anything, I'm too much in my mind. But that's only a detail. Do you remember me?
Of course I remember you. How could I forget you?
Have I changed much?
You've grown older. But then again, so have I. I'd say you've become more and more what you are.
You think so? Is it really possible?
Why shouldn't it be? It seems almost inevitable.
Not for me, it isn't. You're making fun of me, aren't you?
Listen, Charlie.
Don't ever call me that! Don't ever call me that again, do you hear?
I forgot.
What is my name?
Black. Black, from the very beginning. Black.
You must never forget that. Do you understand?
Will he be here soon?
It's impossible to say. Perhaps he'll never come.
When's he supposed to be here?
Any time now.
What's his name?
Blue.
Is it over then?
What over?
The story.
Yes, it's over. There's no doubt about it.
Did you really believe in it that much?
It wasn't a question of belief. I really wanted to know what it would be like.
For so long, for so many years?
Once I got started, it was hard to stop. Developed a taste for it.
Living like a ghost?
Watch your tongue, old man.
I don't like when you call me that.
Yeah, but that's what you are, isn't it? An old man.
Are you forgetting who I am?
Hardly.
And that it was I who found you?
Only because I wanted to be found.
What'll you do when it's over?
I don't have many choices, do I?
The little boy. Did he really die?
I don't remember anymore.
And White, did he really disappear? What about Gray? Did Gray really disappear?
You know the answer as well as I do.
And Black? What's going to happen to him?
There aren't many choices, are there?
Will he be here soon?
Oh my God.
Yes?
Is it time?
He wants to know if it's time.
Ask him his name.
He wants to know your name.
Tell him I want to know if it's time.
He wants to know if it's time.
Yes. It's time.
He says it's time.
chair will do.
Aren't you going to ask me to identify myself again?
You know who you are. The only thing I care about is your report.
I have the report. There's no need to worry.
Surprise you that it should all come down to this?
Because I've been on this case too long to be surprised by anything.
You feel no regrets.
What I feel doesn't matter, besides. You can't take it with you, can you?
Except now. Bring it all back now.
No. We're just putting it into words. It's all over.
Did you get that last sentence? Let me hear it.
Let me hear it.
That's what I asked you.
And that's what I gave you.
No. But what about the words?
We're just putting it into words.
Is that what you mean to say?
Yes,
You
that's...
shouldn't be so vague about it.
No, talking! Don't you remember? What did you say?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean to say.
I'm sorry.
I have all the time in the world.
It'd be nice to think so. Where were we?
Nowhere. We haven't started yet.
Suppose you'd like to get this over with quickly. Do
As I said, I have all the time in the world.
you think I'm afraid? Do you think I'm trying to delay? Damn it! Say what you mean, goddammit!
Whatever I say, I mean. If you want me to begin, I'll begin. If you want me to wait, I'll wait. If you want me to leave, I'll leave and come back tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. It'll be too late by then.
Where were we?
We're about to begin. What's that?
Sounds like mice.
Yes, it's the mice.
There are mice in the walls and you didn't tell me?
It is only a detail. I didn't want to bother you with it.
It's disgusting.
There's no need to worry. I've taken care of it.
What does that mean?
Poison.
They'll die in the walls and begin to stink. Their bodies will rot in the walls.
Not so. They'll eat the poison, then leave. They'll die outside.
How can you be sure?
The poison makes them thirsty. They eat the poison and then begin to crave water. They get frantic. They go outside for a drink, but it doesn't do them any good. Because even as they drink, they die from thirst.
Where were we? Read me back that last sentence.
We were about to begin.
Who said it?
You did.
Just a few questions.
As you wish.
Do you feel you've been well paid?
I've been paid.
I'm not sure I understand you.
Never had too much to be able to stop or too little to want to quit.
And you don't feel any bitterness.
What for? Well, there wouldn't be any sense to that.
And yet,
Of course, goddammit, what do you think? Wouldn't have been human not to.
it's just that you took on the work with such ardor. Even when the investigation was going nowhere, you continued to devote yourself to an exhaustive examination of the details, to record even the most peripheral references to the case. Hardly the work of a man just doing his job. There's real devotion in this.
After a while, it kind of got under my skin. After all, what did I have to do? I had to watch this man and write down what I saw. It was so simple. Never made any sense.
Did you ever try to find out who hired you?
You know that as well as I do.
You didn't answer my question.
I prefer not to.
You know why you were asked to come today.
To give the report.
But why are you willing to give the report to me?
Because you're the one who's here. If it had been somebody else, I would have given it to him.
It doesn't bother you that I might be the wrong man.
But you didn't ask me to identify myself. That means you know who I am. And if you know me, I know you.
But if I know more about you than you know about me?
I wouldn't count on it.
How did it work?
I followed him. I watched what I did, and then I'd write my report every Sunday night.
And then?
Then I'd mail it to the postbox number on Monday morning.
Did you ever wonder what they thought?
Well, sometimes. But I figured since my check came every week, they thought I was doing a good job.
And the man? Did you ever wonder what he thought of you?
He never saw me. That was the point, wasn't it? He wasn't supposed to know I was watching him.
Yeah, but didn't you ever feel like talking to him? Didn't you ever want to know him?
It made no difference. I thought, how much can I get to know just by watching him? It interested me. It's kind of a puzzle. So I watched him. Plant myself outside his house in the morning and wait for him to come out. Most of the time, he never seemed to go anywhere. Nothing more than rudimentary things. Grocery shopping. Occasional haircut, now and then a movie. But mostly, he just wandered around the streets. He seemed to look at things in spurts. For a while, say it would be buildings. Craning his neck to get a glimpse at roofs, inspecting doors, running his hands over the facades. And then for a week or two, he'd look at people. Or the boats in the river, or the signs in the street. For a long time, I thought this man had no kind of life at all. I mean, he didn't do anything. From everything I could gather, he lived alone. He didn't see anyone, he didn't go to a job, and it was an effort for him even to speak. This went on for a year, maybe two. I can't remember. He was so blank, he hardly seemed to be there. In all that time, I learned nothing about him. Nothing. I could write down what he did. I could tell you what kind of soap he bought, what kind of clothes he wore, but it really didn't amount to anything, because I never had the slightest idea what he was thinking.
Did it bother you?
Yeah, it made no difference. I was doing my job. I was getting paid. It made no difference at all.
And then?
Somehow or another, it started to change. I really can't say why. I think I started to like him. One day I woke up and I realized I couldn't wait to go outside and watch him and see what he did.
You were having troubles of your own then, weren't you?
What do you mean?
Family troubles?
You mean my wife?
Your wife, your children, they disappeared.
She walked out on me, if that's what you mean.
More or less.
Yes. My wife walked out on me, I admit it. I was a terrible husband and a terrible father.
No, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Matter of opinion.
And then,
I had more time.
you changed your life.
My life.
You moved, didn't you? Across the street from the man?
Well, it seemed like the practical thing to do. After all, it was winter. I could watch him from the window and keep myself warm. Warm and hidden. When he went out, I went out.
Is that when it started?
What?
To get under your skin? I think those were your words.
When I didn't have anything else to do, you see, there was nothing else to think about.
So, you sat by the window and wrote
I
about the man.
I started to ask myself questions. I thought no one could possibly be interested in this man. No one would pay me every week to do what I was doing except...
Except?
the man himself.
Why would he do a thing like that?
I have no idea.
And then?
I'm just giving you the story as it happened.
And then?
Well, I thought it might be a good idea to see if anyone is the one who picked up my reports at the post office in the morning. Hung around there all week, each day in a different disguise. Yeah, I like that kind of thing. False mustaches, the rubber noses, the wigs, the makeup, the clothes. You know, Brown, the man who broke me into the business 20 years ago, he said I was one of the best he'd ever seen. Anyway, on the 6th day, he finally came.
Was it the man?
I'm not sure. He was in disguise, too.
But couldn't you tell?
I had my suspicions, but I couldn't be sure. He was wearing a mask. One of those things kids wear at Halloween. A big rubber mask of a goblin. What was I supposed to do? Go up and tear it off his face? I couldn't risk blowing my cover.
Did you ever try it again?
A few more times, but nothing ever came of it. He was always wearing a different mask.
You say he. It might have been they. Couldn't it? Different man each time? A different man in a different mask each time.
Exactly.
And then,
Another year or so went by. And I decided on a new approach. I thought I would make contact with him. Yeah, I was itchy to get into disguise again. He was beginning to drive me crazy. I mean, nothing ever changed. I felt trapped. It was as if, my God, this is going to go on forever.
what did you do?
I waited for my moments. First time I pretended to be a bum begging nickels on the corner. He gave me a nickel and said, God bless you. It was the first time I ever heard him speak. Another time I pretended to be an out-of-town businessman. You know, a blowhard in a polyester suit. Stopped him for directions and managed to talk my way into buying him a drink. We stayed for a few hours in that bar. The Algonquin, I think it was. I can't remember, but it's all written down.
Did you talk?
We both talked.
And?
He told me that he was a detective. And for that the past few years, he had been working on one case. And he went on about it for half the evening. Following a man, he said, day in and day out, until he knew the man as well as he knew himself.
Feel he was on to you then?
Well, of course he was on to me. He was making fun of me.
Did it make you uncomfortable?
It made me feel like an idiot, and I nearly quit right then and there.
Why didn't you?
Because, even so, I had made several important discoveries. First of all, he was the one who hired me. There was no question about that anymore. And second, he needed me. It was something he wanted me to know, and little by little, he was letting me in on his secret.
Couldn't you guess?
No. The whole thing escaped me. All I knew was he was calling shots. Clues, legwork, investigative routine, all those things didn't matter anymore. I was on my own. But at the same time, I had to keep up appearances. Go about my business, do the job I was supposedly being paid to do.
You played dumb.
Very dumb.
But of course, he knew that.
Of course. began to lose patience again, and I cooked up another scheme. Only this time, I couldn't be sure whether it was my idea or his. I did the old routine of the Fuller brush man. I've always had luck. Knocked on his door and offered to show him my samples.
Did he let you in?
Of course he let me in.
Why do you think?
Because he was ready to have me come. He wanted me there.
Ah.
The apartment was one large room, nearly bare. A small, neatly made bed in one corner and a kitchenette in another corner, also neat. Not a crumb to be seen. And in the center of the room, a wooden table. A single stiff-backed wooden chair. Pens, pencil, typewriter, and then the manuscripts. Piles of them stacked neatly around the edges of the table, on the floor by the legs of the table, and on the shelves of the bookcase that covered the entire north wall of the apartment. Other than that, nothing. Nothing. No telephone, no radio, no books, nothing. Wasn't a place you could really live in. A place to think, maybe, a place to write. But that's all. And I realized that what I had seen was all there was from the very beginning. The man had no life you could call a life.
What did you talk about?
The brushes! I had to keep up appearances. That was part of the game, remember?
And then?
I began to ask him questions. About this, about that, very casually. Part of my salesman's pattern. He told me that he was a writer. And that for a long time he had been working on a book. I asked when I would get a chance to read his work. He said he didn't know. Maybe never, he said. He didn't think he'd live to finish it.
And then?
I made up my mind to steal the manuscripts.
Sounds as if you were beginning to overstep your bounds.
He was asking me to take them.
In so many words?
Never in so many words. Nothing said was ever what was meant. That was the point. It was a matter of understanding him in advance, of reading between the lines. Eventually, I caught on.
Did you go through with it?
The next night. I knew what I was doing, you see. There was no need to waste time.
Did you wait till he was out, or did you use some other
I
method?
didn't bother with any of that. I knew what I was doing. It must have been about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I had no trouble picking the lock. It was child's play. Walked into the room and there he was. Sitting on the bed as if thinking. And he was wearing the mask. The same one he had been wearing that first time at the post office.
Was it this mask?
That's the one.
And then?
He didn't say anything, he didn't move. I walked over to the table, picked up a pile of manuscripts at random, put them under my arm and left the room.
And he did nothing to stop you.
Oh, you still don't understand. He was waiting for me. He wanted me to take them. And I should have taken more, that was my only slip. So I went back the next night. And the next night after that.
And what happened?
The same thing. Nothing. Nothing happened.
Did you read the manuscripts?
Every word.
And
It was all there, more or less as I had imagined it.
you weren't disappointed?
No. It seemed to make a kind of sense.
And then?
I went back one more time. Only this time it was different.
In what way?
He had a gun.
This gun?
Yes, that's the one.
And then!
I opened the door and entered the room, and there he was. Sitting there, sticking that 38 in my face. That's enough, my friend, he said. You've taken it as far as you can go.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything. I snapped. Something inside me went crazy. I kicked the gun out of his hand, grabbed him by the collar, and started banging his head against the wall. I picked him up and threw him down and started punching him in his stomach and kicking him in the face. I wanted to kill him!
Did you?
I'm not sure!
Not sure? There's no middle ground, my friend. It's either life or death.
I couldn't be sure! He's still breathing when I left, but he seemed to be bleeding inside. He was unconscious. I didn't think he'd last much longer.
Now, what is he now? Alive or dead?
Alive!
Are you sure?
Dead!
Are you sure?
No! I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything. Are you finished now?
Yes. It's finished.
Nothing to add. Nothing to take away.
No, it's finished.
Is it true the little boy died?
I'm not sure.
And the man in the ditch, what was his name?
White.
And whatever happened to White?
I'm not sure.
And Gray, is he alive or dead?
Probably dead.
And Black?
What about Black?
That's what I'm asking you. What about Black?
I don't know. Black doesn't count. Black is the one who isn't there.
And what does Black say?
Black says he's tired. Black says he can't go on anymore. Black says nothing.